Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Mediumship Monday. I'm Kerry Waring, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm a psychic medium and an intuitive soul coach. And you'll resonate with my work if you, two things, are certainly interested in developing your own psychic and mediumship abilities, and also too, if you spiritually motivated, love anything to do with living from the soul, and are really keen to understand and work with the mechanics of the soul and how you create with this gorgeous universe. Because I guess they're my two passions, and that's the work and the message that I have for you. I know what my connection to spirit has given me over the last 20 plus years, and I offer intuitive strategies and insight and tools and techniques so you can develop that connection to the divine within you. And every Monday is Mediumship Monday, so I come to you with a Facebook Live here with a topic around mediumship, whether it is a psychic development type view. Hello, Tammy, how are you? So on Mediumship Monday, the topic is fairly focused on mediumship. So it's whether you're not today, Tammy. That's Wednesdays at 11 o'clock. So so today's a discussion on Mediumship Monday. And Wednesdays are Soul Whispering Wednesdays, where I do the intuitive readings. So today's topic is I'm talking to you about the idea of whether you would ever ask a psychic for their money back. You know, you've been to a session and it hasn't gone that well and you've walked out less than happy. You know, I know this is something I've been a proponent of for quite a few years, and I know it's actually probably considered a little bit controversial. However, most of the time when I actually talk about this with the public and people that I come across, and I hear their experiences and I talk to them about asking for their money back, the response more often than not is the fact that the public, you as a client, don't even realize that that's something that you could do. You know, just the other week there was, you know, I was talking about this with someone, and literally the words out of their mouth was, "Oh my God, could you do that?" Well, I'm going to tell you that yes, you can. I do liken it as the fact that as a psychic, we are offering you a service, just like any other service. And while there is no real governing bodies, especially here in Australia, that holds us to a standard, I guess we would come under the Fair Trading Act, you know, so because we have ABNs, and that puts us in that space, you know. So if we are making a claim that we're giving you a reading, it's about life guidance, soul guidance, it's connecting with you, with your loved ones, whatever it might be. If you walk away from that experience and do not feel like the information has related to you in any capacity, then I say you're well within your rights to ask for your money back. If you received a bad haircut, you know, if you went somewhere and didn't receive the service that you felt you were asking for, if you went and invested your money and didn't feel like you got value for money, then I believe that you're entitled to ask for your money back. Now, firstly, I know that when you're choosing a psychic, I know that you don't make that choice lightly. There's a lot of thought that goes into that. Firstly, your you've probably got a lot of, other obligations where you've got to spend your money, like on your kids, on their sporting activities, all of your commitments. So I know generally that when you're choosing to invest in a reading with a psychic, that you've put a lot of thought into that, because most of the times, your needs, looking after yourself, comes last before you take care of everyone else. So I know that those thoughts go into it. I know that, one, you're really considering who is the best psychic for you on top of that. You're doing your research, you're looking around, and the great thing is that these days you can see examples of a psychic's work on things like Facebook Live. So it is helping you in those instances to see, to choose, to get a feel, get to know them, to see their work. Social media is a great avenue for that. And of course, it's usually a choice about how you feel and how you resonate. And I know most people will feel that with me, that they will come because they just have a sense, especially if they're new. If they're new and they haven't worked with me before, generally it's because they just feel like it's the right thing. And inevitably they find that my life experience is where they're at. Like I've been through what they've been through, or what they're going through. So secondly, I know, like, when you choose a psychic, you don't choose lightly, but I also know that not every reading will go perfectly. And that's not anything necessarily to do with the psychic abilities or your abilities or where you're at. Sometimes it's just like oil and water. And I know that over the years, there have been times where it hasn't worked for me. However, in those instances, and even these days, if it does occur, I will know within the first 10 minutes as to whether or not the connection is actually working as I feel like it needs to be. You will know within the first 10 minutes whether you're relating to the information or struggling to see its relevance in your life. So over the years, there have been those instances, and I can feel like where the information feels hard to receive. So in those instances, I know that there's no point pushing on. There's no point forcing it. So in those instances, sometimes the best approach for me personally as a practitioner is to just voice it, say it out loud, say, hey, this is what's going on, this is the blocks I feel, whatever it might be. In that acknowledgement, it usually frees up the energy and we continue on. Other times, and rarely, it'll be that we need to talk about rescheduling the session, or perhaps there's a psychic that I know that might be more suited for you. Whatever it is, I know in the past when that's happened, I've offered money back. And in particular, especially when it's the first time that you perhaps have ever sought out a connection to a psychic. And this has happened to me, in the fact that the first time this particular client came to me quite a few years ago now, the very first session we ever had to do, I needed to refund his money. And when I offered that he could see a friend of mine, he said no, because the fact that I just did that made him even more confident in me and made him even more realizing that I was the right psychic for him. So we rescheduled, and then at that second session, everything was fine, and he was actually a client of mine for a considerable number of years after that, just until he was ready to heal and let go and no longer need the connection that he was seeking. Now, it is really, really important. We are a representation of spirit, and especially when it is the first experience ever of anyone ever seeking a psychic. And I am very conscious of that sort of experience. So I know, like, if you have an experience where you don't feel like you get value for money, you don't feel like the information is relevant to you in any capacity or any form, you know, so the information where good psychics should be able to come to receive information that is current, that you know already to be true, especially mediums. You know, so that information, the fact that you have 2 kids, you know, the fact that you know, you've got a son or you've got a daughter, what's currently going on with your life. If you're asking about your relationship, the fact that we get the situation around your relationship correct. With, you know, if we're connecting with a loved one, that the information that we have is aligned and correct with what you know to be true. Even if sometimes when it comes to mediumship, yes, you'll get a loved one that comes through that you don't necessarily know a lot about. However, behind that, there generally should be someone that you know more about, that is closer to you and connected to you. That shouldn't just be the whole reading, you know. So trust in yourself to know, in the fact that you know you haven't received value, and you're probably walking away feeling like you've been ripped off, you know. So, and this is where, for me, this is where it's really important for me. I do offer a money back guarantee, because of the fact that I would rather you walk away knowing the connection just hasn't worked, where I'm having a bad day. And generally, if I know I'm having a bad day, I'll reschedule readings. Or just the connection between us is not working. I would rather you walk away knowing that than you walk away feeling like I haven't met your need, I haven't given you relevant information, or you walk away feeling you haven't received value for money. Because what will happen then is your word of mouth, the fact you won't be recommending me to your friends, you'll be telling them, oh, she ripped me off, that she's no good, that she's not relevant. And from my perspective, that's not the kind of word of mouth I'm looking for. I'm looking for the fact that you feel supported, that the information was spot on, that it was all relevant, and that you walked away with greater clarity and direction and felt like you could move forward again. That's the kind of word of mouth I'm looking for. And for me, the offering, accepting that not every session is going to be perfect, and that you as a client deserve value for money, we are offering a service, is important to me. And I honestly think that you as a client have a right to ask for your money back from any psychic, not just me, but from any psychic that you feel has not hit the point for you, that has not hit that need. So if you have a bad experience, I want you to think clearly about that. If you walk away less than happy, I do want you to take time, not just go into negativity or go into bitchy mode. I do want you to seriously think about the information that came through and whether it was a hit or not. You know, if you feel like it was totally off the mark, then by all means, ring up the psychic or go through the process of however you booked in and say something like, you know, I really want to talk to you about my session because I just really feel like there was a mismatch, that I feel like I didn't get what I was looking for. Be open and honest. And as I know that can be confronting and nervous, but hey, when you think about it, there's a big range of what a psychic costs, you know, from some of them $50 to hundreds of dollars, you know, and sometimes that's not even justifiable or worthy of, and it doesn't necessarily indicate one's ability or level of experience. It really is a buyer beware situation. So there is a big range of how much money practitioners are asking you to invest. So if you have that experience, I really want, if you have had that experience, or if you come up against it in the future, I want you to think about, you know, objectively, a little objectively, of how, you know, did the pieces of information, were they relevant? Did you feel like you got the help that you were looking for? If not, then by all means, contact the psychic. If they're a member of some sort of association like the Australian Psychics Association or the Australian Academy of Spirit, contact the association if need be. You know, I know I've had the personal experience of traveling to the US to attend a 5-day live-in workshop, and the first day and a half, I realized that it was not what I had signed up for. I had signed up for advanced mediumship training, and that is not what was happening. What was happening was very basic, beginner level stuff, and I had paid hundreds of dollars for this training, on top of the fact that there was accommodation, airfares, and all of that sort of stuff as well. So what did I do? I went, and the residential place, it was a mega institute in upstate New York. I did go to the organisers, to the people that run that place, and ask for my money back, and opted out of the course. And this was a course that was run by a well-known, world-famous medium. So you know, I've been there, not for a reading. Certainly there's been plenty that perhaps I should have, but certainly for training. And I have, you know, in that instance, asked for my money back, and I had to go through the whole process of writing a letter, talk about the specifics of why. In the end, yes, I did get my money back. So I would say to you, go through, just have your specifics, you know, write them down before you approach the psychic. Hi, Linda, how you going? But no, I guess the biggest message is that I want you to know that it's okay to ask for your money back. And in fact, if anything, I think you should. You know, if the public really got behind this sort of thinking, and you'd be holding us to a greater standard. You know, there are no standards. Literally, any psychic can do a weekend training and then set themselves up to do readings, and can set themselves up to do those readings and ask you for money. That's literally the kind of industry that we have. And there's nothing that could stop anyone doing that. You know, hence the reason why we have this view of charlatans. And it's not so much that charlatans are not the issue. It's inexperience that's the issue. So if the public could help us out by having the view of, if you don't receive value for money, ask for your money back, if you have that kind of view and think and know that it's okay to be doing that, you're going to hold us to a standard. And for that, you know, you're going to begin to hold our industry to a greater standard. And that's something that I'm really passionate about and always have been passionate about. And hence, one of the reasons why that I'm talking about today's topic, because I want you to have a think about that. And so I'll leave you with those thoughts, and by all means, I do want to hear, you know, have you had that kind of experience? Have you had that kind of experience where you've walked away feeling like you wanted to ask your money back from the psychic that you've just had a reading with? Tell me, let me know if you've had that experience. I'd love to hear about it. So enjoy the rest of your Monday, and have a great week, and God bless.